We might do some Path of Exile. Man, these ghost hands are getting crazy now. We went through the forest and had maybe like 2. Now it's like every other thing we're grabbing. Okay, let's see if we can take this to the station above. Is Clock Tower another retro spooky? Ah, looks like we can. Oh, nope, doesn't look like we can. Yes, yes. So we played Clock Tower Rewind, which is a port plus of the original Japanese game. That never released in the U.S. You can get that on Steam, all sorts of stuff. And then we're going to play through. I actually have the whole series on my desk now, just because. So we're going to play. We're playing them in chronological order, which is the order of release, not story order. So next we're going to play Clock Tower 2, Struggle Within, which is a PS1 game. Then we're going to play Clock Tower. Yes, it has the same title as the first title. This is actually the sequel to the first game. Clock Tower 2 has some allusions to the first game, but this is the actual sequel, which is Clock Tower PS1, and then we'll finish the Clock Tower series with Clock Tower 3. However, we are also going to play the spiritual successor in Night Cry, which is a game that apparently got some mixed reviews, but it's done by Team Scissor. It's a spiritual successor to the Clock Tower games. So, alright, so it does not look like we can take this car to the thing, so we're gonna have to actually make that run all the way back. What is the quickest way up there? You're learning so much, yeah. Helps if I push the right button. I want to open the map. Okay, so if we go here, what is the quickest way to the thing? Hall of Fire. So if we go... Hold on. I don't think we've been to the Unfathomable Forest, have we? Yeah, we have. We have. Okay. So what is the quickest way? Because we got to get up here now. We've got to get to this mountain path and the Shrine of the Ephemeral. Where do you get the games? Do you always have them, or did you hunt them down? For the Clock Tower series, I hunted them down. Certain series, like the Silent Hill, I had most of the Silent Hill games already. I just needed to pick up, like, counterparts, so I don't have my Xbox 360 hooked up, but I played a Downpour and Homecoming on 360, so I had to hunt down the PS3 copies, but they're super cheap. No, those games are really easy to find, but some of the other games that we play are much, much harder. Okay, so it seems like going back through the tunnel. I'm trying to think. What is the quickest way? I guess... No, I guess we'll go back through the pool to the Shrine of Dolls to the mountain path. Dedication, yeah. Well, So basically what happened was, I've been streaming for 4 years as of Sunday. My affiliate anniversary was 4 years. I had done some little streams beforehand, but overall, full-time streaming since 4 years ago. And I spent the first year and a half streaming every day, and it kind of wore on me, and I didn't realize that till I had to take a break because I was moving houses, and it's very hard to stream when you're moving houses, it turns out. And I was supposed to take like a month, maybe 2 off for the move, and I ended up taking 6 months off. And when I came back, I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on playing retro stuff, as well as just stuff that I want to play, just for the fact that, like, I really want to try some of these experiences for the first time, and I really want to share those experiences. It's this lady again. It's the falling lady. And I decided to devote more time to that when we came back. Okay, she's gonna fall. Squish. Okay, we already touched this lady. So the way you touch this lady is you let her fall, and then you touch her on the ground. That was very hard to do, but we did it earlier. But that being said, boy, I wanted to focus on that stuff. I wanted to focus less on numbers, especially last year. I wanted to focus less on numbers and more just on retro experiences, because there's a lot of these games that I never got to play for whatever reason. Either I didn't know they were out, didn't have the money for them, or didn't have the console at the time, or whatever it might have been. And I want to kind of alleviate that now. Like, this is my first playthrough of the entire Fatal Frame series. This is the last game currently. Hopefully they end up making more, because I really did enjoy the series. And it's kind of bittersweet, because on one hand, I'm so glad I'm playing these games, but on the other hand, it's sad that I didn't play them way back in the day. But then I also think, like, I don't know if, like, younger me could really get the gravity of some of these stories that adult me definitely gets, you know? So, I don't know. It's kind of a interesting, like, thought experiment. But yeah. Plus, there's a lot of these games that I play that other people have not heard about, right? So it's like the Clock Tower series. There's a lot of people that don't know about the Clock Tower series. There's a lot of people that don't know that it's a series, right? Some people played, like, the PS1 version. Some people played the PS2 version, which is Clock Tower 3. I think we can go this way. That's the womb pathway. Bypass the tunnel. Yeah, I think we can go this way. I'm gonna go to the top right. Right, so, and a lot of people might come in or might think, like, oh, you're flexing on people with your collection and stuff, and it's like, that's not the point of it at all. You know, if I was doing that, I would do, like, bunches and bunches of posts of all the cool stuff that I have that, you know, that's become expensive or is just hard to find or whatever. But I don't make those posts because that's never the point. I've mentioned this before. The whole point of me acquiring these games is twofold. Basically, the first one is so I can share my first-time experiences with the games with my community. And the second thing is if I have someone come over that's like, hey, I saw you had X game and I've always wanted to play, you know, that game. Do you mind if I play it? I can go, yes, and I can just put it in the console and they can start playing, right? And, you know, to me, that's just something I wanted to strive for. Now, given I don't really have anybody currently that has any interest in doing that, but who knows? Maybe in the future, that'll change. We haven't been over here before. We have not been here before. Okay, so this is a whole new area. It's a good thing we came back this way. Wow, you stupid ghost hands. Get off of me, man. Because we could look through, there's a hole from the top path where we can look down into that, and Ren was like, I wonder where that leads. We've not been here before. Can't hold any more of this. We're maxed out on 61 film. Yikes. What is this path? Where does this lead? Woodland entry. That's where we came in. Where does this go? Tunnel entrance? Construction site. Oh. There was a little tunnel thing that we missed. Old exit. Okay. Does the tunnel connect anywhere? Womb cavern. Forest Station, goes to the Moon Cavern, goes to the Mountain Path. Okay, so I don't think we needed to go this way. Okay. I mean, I'm glad we did, because this is us finding this area for the first time. But, we already checked the tunnel earlier. But, you know, it's one of those it's one of the things I wanted to focus on. Because, like, one, I love horror games, and two, there's a lot of retro stuff that... Oh, yeah, we can pick this up before because we're full. There's a lot of stuff that I just, like I said, I just didn't know about or didn't have that I still want to play. Like, Sundays we're playing Kuon, which is one of the games that, one, I never thought I would ever get, let alone be able to play. And that is like, it's like one of my bucket list games, right? Like, it's one of the games that I've always wanted to play, and now we're playing it, right? And it's just crazy to think about. Same thing with the Clock Tower series. Like, I never thought I'd be able to play, because the first one, there was like a fan translation like thing you could get. There's also reproduction carts that ran on like the Super Nintendo. They were super cheap, like you could get them, but it was fan translation. Then you know, Clock Tower Rewind came out, excuse me, and now we have an official like translation. We have an official game port, but that's really awesome to hear. For me, it wasn't really able to play games because growing up poor, my family believed the whole video games only for boys. Yeah, well, it's funny because we'll talk about that. That's actually propaganda. That's well, it's not really propaganda. It's more marketing. Marketing is the reason why that exists. It wasn't until I was in high school that finally good, but my games were limited. Dad talked to my mom, was letting me get into StarCraft and Command and Conquer. Oof, them RTSs. RTS is some people's bread and butter. I am not the best at real-time strategy and stuff. I'm not terrible at them. It's just not a thing I'm particularly good at. But yeah, no, the only other options were Mario. Yeah, fair. What's there's nothing wrong with Mario? Mario's, you know, high. By the way, you always one-shot these dolls. At least I don't think there's been a time where we haven't one-shot those dolls. They're not ghosts. They're just, like, animated. But, I mean, Mario's a solid platformer and has been for a very long time. So it's not a terrible choice, but definitely compared to, like, StarCraft, Command & Conquer, there's a lot less complexity to it. But yeah, no, the funny thing is the reason why that, like, game for boys things exist is actually because of the way America in, like, the 80s structured their kids stuff. So in Japan, so far as I know, they didn't, there wasn't like games are only for girls or boys kind of thing. It was just games existed and people played them, right? Thought there was a... Oh, we gotta go up. How do we get... Did I go the completely wrong way? No, there's like a door right here, right? Yeah. So when Nintendo brought over consoles, you know, like the NES and the Super Nintendo and stuff, they brought it to America. They had to choose how they wanted to market it because we had our toys and our kids stuff separated between girls stuff and boys stuff, right? And in the 80s, they made the decision, obviously, to market to boys. So that's why when you see marketing from the 80s, 90s, even into the early 2000s, it's almost exclusively young boys in that marketing. And that's just because that's what they had to choose when they brought over their consoles and games and stuff. So that's why there was, for the longest time, this mentality of like, oh, it's marketed to boys, so games are obviously for boys. And it was a marketing scheme. It's funny because it's not the first time people have fallen for marketing schemes like that. Type Zero film. The idea of how much a diamond ring should cost for marriage, like if you're going to propose, was completely made up by the company selling diamond rings. A lot of people don't know this. De Beers, which is, at least at the time, was one of the ones that owned most of the diamond market in the West. What they would do is they started marketing with posters and advertisements that it should cost 2 months' salary, and that marketing became essentially fact. People bought it as fact. Okay, well, this is all I've ever heard, so obviously I have to buy a diamond ring that's worth 2 months' salary, right? Which at the time wasn't as rough on your budget as it was for today's world, right? And so, but that carries on to this day. There's some people that still believe, oh god, not these guys. Did I just one-shot all 3 of them? I did. Nice. You gotta be careful with these guys. They can resurrect each other. Those guys, if one of them goes down, another one can bring them back. So it's actually nice that we got that insta-kill there. Okay, so that leads to the otherworld pathway. I'm gonna go this way. But yeah, so there's still people to this day who believe that you're supposed to pay 2 months' salary for a diamond ring, when diamonds intrinsically don't hold their value. So that's another thing that people don't realize, is people buy diamonds because they think diamonds are forever, right? That's another marketing scheme. But it turns out, a guy did a book where he wrote about how the diamond industry was just basically all a giant scam. He bought a $3,000 diamond ring, right? He left one store, immediately walked into a different diamond store, and they're like, yeah, the most we can give you is $1,000. So it lost 2/3 of its value just by leaving the store. Right? And that's kind of insane to think about, right? That there's a market out there where something just existing makes it intrinsically less valuable. Okay, I want to know if we can go to the Spider Lily area. We should check. Doesn't look like it's lit up, so I'm gonna guess no, but... yeah. Okay, so we can't go that way. That's where Miyu found, Miku. Or at least followed Miku. But, yeah, so there's just a lot of marketing stuff that people have fallen for, and continue to fall for. And I don't want that to come off as an insult. It's just that's how marketing works, right? The whole idea is to get you to buy in so that you buy their product. So, effective marketing looks exactly like that stuff. 2 months salary, or games are for boys. That kind of stuff. Are we gonna finally get the story of the tall woman? Because this is where we ran into her before. Guess not. I really want to know the tall woman story. She might just be a ghost, like a yokai or something that they decided to add. But yeah, I mean, that again, that's just a sign of good marketing. It's not that people are, are dumb or anything like that for falling for it or whatever. I don't want that to come across, because we're talking about kindness in the community, and it's not kind to call someone stupid for falling for a thing that is meant to be incentivizing them doing something, right? It's just like, hey, you want to feel important? Follow this marketing, right? And obviously it works. Because I don't like that idea either, that people, and a lot of it, and I've mentioned this before, a lot of it comes from just ignorance. It's just people don't know. Because again, it's the idea that you don't know what you don't know. right? It's a tautology, of course, but like it's one of those like, yeah, until you find out and until someone gives you other information, you just go off of what you know. Right. Okay, I can't hold any more of those. Got it. So okay. I know you're gonna charge me. Do you have a friend or is it just you? Kill. Wow, you went so far back. Still got you though. High five. That's what I call our fatal glances. I call them high fives. That's essentially what it feels like. But, you know. We are slowly trying to dismantle those kinds of, like, thoughts. We're also, you know, people are more technologically knowledgeable in a lot of cases. People have research at the tip of their fingers, even though Google's AI overviews have been known to be consistently wrong. Which is a whole nother problem. But, you guys again? Okay, I need to get somewhere that's not confined. Oh, he moved right at the last second. These guys suck. Oh, I do not want to be in a corner. Guess I'm gonna get hit with fireball. I literally cannot see. This is a terrible place to fight these guys. And that's why right there, they have a charge attack, they have projectiles. We need to get to a better fighting location. I do not want to fight them in this corner. Should be a little bit of a space right here. There we go. Let's see if I can... There we go. Don't tell me there's a third one. Okay. So it should just be the two of them. Maybe we should just ask Jeeves. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. It probably is, knowing how the internet works, but... But yeah. So it's... There's a lot of things that compound that kind of stuff, unfortunately. Because... There's also, like, familial pressure for a lot of things. Like, it's like, yeah, you might want to break the idea that, you know, 2 months salary, for example, for a ring. But your family would be like, no, it has to be 2 months salary, otherwise you don't actually care for them. And it's like, wait a second, what? And that's... It's a very hard thing to do. I mean, our generation, you know, younger generations are starting to get more and more inclined to not talk with their families for a plethora of reasons. And a lot of it's just because, you know, families, especially older families, tend to hold on to those old mentalities, which can be either inherently harmful to the family or at least harmful to children, grandchildren, stuff like that, so... What's this? Sacred water. There you don't. Hello. Oh, it's you again. Do that, and then we're gonna do one of those. I'm gonna have to let her grab me. But, she's dead, by the way. But yeah. There's a lot of different reasons for a lot of different things. It's just being cognizant of those things, and you know, anything harmful you might be perpetuating, and also I think there's a big problem with people that people are terrified of being wrong, right? Because there's obviously there's a lot of error of judgment kind of stuff that happens, but it's one of those that, like, people feel like if you tell them that they're wrong, they get very, very upset, right? Even though it is in human nature to be wrong because you don't have all the information, right? That's why we have specialists for stuff, is to slowly get to the point where, you know, we have facts that everyone can understand and agree upon. Anything here? Nah, it's probably the Type 0 film in the back. Stupid ghost hand. But because I mean, they're also fighting psychology too. I've talked about it before. There's a thing that happens with people that's kind of unconscious, called the backfire effect, which is where basically when you tell someone, hey, you're incorrect about this bit of information, I can offer you some other or some resources to better, you know, inform yourself, people take that as a physical attack. So there's a thing that happens unconsciously where it triggers like fight or flight depending on the situation and stuff. We're gonna fight this old lady in here and again, aren't we? God, these hands are all over the place now. Let go. And that's why you have to also think about who you're talking to and how you're approaching it. Because if you just tell someone, you know, hey, you're wrong, then, but not offer anything in return, a lot of times they take that as a slight, which again can trigger that effect of like, no, I'm right, and you're attacking me now. And again, sometimes that's conscious, sometimes that's unconscious. But that's why I always tell people, it's like, if you're going to, you know, have a conversation with someone, make sure you approach it with, you know, a certain set of decorum, so that way they don't feel like they're being attacked, but also give them the option of resources, so that they don't feel like you're just trying to, you know, feed them false information to show that they're wrong or something. And a lot of times people don't do that. They just go, hey, you're wrong, and then they like leave it at that, and it's just like, well, I guess screw you too, you know? So, but, and it could be rough. Certain situations, it's hard to do that, especially when you're trying to break somewhat of an old mentality. Because they'll take that, you know, you telling them that they're wrong, as you're trying to change who they are, and not, you know, just their way of thinking, which also comes with its own set of issues, obviously. Because again, you know, people tie their identities to different things, and sometimes those things is just information that's been passed to them through the generations. And again, the idea of taking that generational ideal and being like, well, this is actually why it's incorrect. It's a very good way for them to feel like you're attacking them as a person, because it's something that they've identified with. Like there's a and of course I'm not, like, you know, a scholar or a psychologist when it comes to this stuff, obviously, but there is a thing that happens a lot, especially in our capitalistic society, where people's identity is tied to their jobs, right? Like, oh, I'm a construction worker, I'm a novelist, I'm a painter, I am, you know, they're tying themselves to what they do. And if something happens with that, it's devastating, right? It's like, oh, you've been a construction worker for 30 years. Well, now you're not a construction worker anymore. Who are you, right? And that question right there, who are you, is both one of the hardest to answer and also one of the ones that most people avoid to think about. Because, you know, people just want a simple, like, I am a construction worker, right? Like, that's a simple answer, but it's like, okay, that's what you do. Who are you, right? Outside of your job, outside of your family, who are you as a person, right? Because a lot of people also define themselves as, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a sibling, you know, whatever it might be. I'm a partner. And again, it's like, okay, that's true. What else, right? Like, what else are you? What makes up who you are? Okay, so we're heading, finally, I know that took a long time, probably longer than anybody cared to see, but we have explored everything. We couldn't get to the House of Joining. That path was closed off. We're about to head to the Shrine of the Ephemeral. We'll clear out the shrine, and then we'll head to the Shrine on the Water, which is the final thing. But we've pretty much explored everywhere else here. We also couldn't go to the Hall of Fire. So there you go. Again, that probably took much longer than people wanted, but we learned a lot of cool stuff. She's taken the boat of passage to the Shrine on the Water. Whenever a pillar crumbles, whenever a shrine maiden falls, the rest of us bound by water must take on those emotions. I have glanced so many deaths. The pain is overflowing. My final thoughts of the dead whirl like a maelstrom. I cannot handle any more. My heart has reached its limit. Oh, are we going to skip through the Shrine of the Ephemeral and go straight to the Shrine on the Water? Because I didn't even push a button. I just walked up to the door. And now it's loading. Wow, must be loading something intense. Okie dokie. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. I hear things, but I don't. I don't see anything. Let me look this up, make sure this isn't a bug. Hmm. No one's reporting anything with the final drop doing this, but looks like it might be bugged. Okay. Guess we're gonna have to close it. Hopefully it saved recently. That sucks. Like you don't get to finish the game.